together we give. Get ready to give. Ready, set, give. Together we can do this. Together, 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 together we live. Together, 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 together we give. Get ready to give. Ready, set, give. Together we can do this. Together we live. Together, 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 New Hampshire gives. Get ready to give. Ready, set, give. Together we can do this. Together we give. Together we stand. Together we give a helping hand. Together we give. Together we stand. Together we give a helping hand. Together we give. Together we stand. Together we give a helping hand.
Hello, hello, and welcome back to New Hampshire Gives. We have 2 hours to go to complete the 2022 Give-a-thon.
And still a lot of work to do.
Yes.
Currently, as we sit here, we come in this afternoon, and what a great, 20-something hours it's been. And thank you for every single donation that you've made. It's been improved upon by the bonuses and the bonus pools. And right now, we still have $450,000 in matches that are still on the table, ready to be employed with your donation. So please do. Don't give up, like we talked all day yesterday about connecting with friends, maybe reaching out now in the afternoon and saying, look, we're in the home stretch, we can do this. Contact your friends, text your friends and family, and ask them to go to the website and give today.
Yeah,
Makes a difference.
And look, we get it. We understand procrastination.
Sure.
Totally get it. In fact, he and I just showed up like 90 seconds ago.
I'm going to be honest, I invented it.
Yeah. so there's 2 hours. We got 2 hours to go, but there's, again, plenty of matching funds, like you said. Spend a few minutes on the website. I actually did that this morning, just kind of kicking around. There's a lot there. And there's a lot of dollars that are still on the table to make your donation stretch just a little bit farther. But look at the numbers that are on the screen right now. 568 of the 590 organizations have already received donations. We got more than 10,000 people who have given. We're at 2.7 million and counting. So much generosity. We've got great momentum. 2 more hours to go. Let's see how far we can stretch this thing.
And the key, just to reiterate, is you're watching. You already know this.
Yeah.
Right? You already know the website. You've already looked around. You already have, maybe even have your mind made up. Let's reach out this afternoon in the last couple of hours and get some people involved. Get them to the website that maybe aren't aware of it. Phone a friend and let them know of the opportunities that they have. Maybe tap into a cause or a nonprofit organization that they care about, that it means something to them in their lives, and say this is a great way not only to give to them, but to stretch your money further because of the bonuses and the bonus pools. And it's so easy to do, as you know. know, a couple of clicks, and you've really helped to improve and or change someone's life.
You know what I'm excited about? Because over the last, the first 4 hours that we did this yesterday, we had a lot of guests, either remote or in person, even some that were pre-produced videos. And I was checking out some of the numbers of donors and the dollars that were raised. Right. And people are tuning in, they're engaging, they're listening to these stories, and they're giving. And for the last couple of hours, we've got a great handful of folks that'll come in and join us.
It was inspiring. I told the volunteers here in the studio that the people that came in and spoke told stories that just made you feel great, you know, about the work that they're doing in every facet of life in New Hampshire, whether it's, you know, arts or nonprofits that support, you know, mental health or LGBTQ, subjects, or food challenges, mental health. There's all kinds of things.
Farming.
And farming that get helped. And fiddle playing. The arts and humanities and the culture and the history, all of those are reachable through the website. Yep. All you got to do is take a look around.
That's great. So. And to get things rolling just a little bit, first thing this morning, we had in the 603, we had a 603 prize winner. 6:03 in the morning. I love that. It was great. And it was the one prize from overnight. The organization that receives the first donation at 6:03 this morning was given the 603 prize. And that winner was Friends of the Libby Museum. And they got an extra $250. Friends of the Libby Museum at 6:03. I love that. That's just cool.
I mean, I know we have a few minutes here before we bring on our first guest, but do we want to bring Kristen in to talk about the bonus pool? Just to remind people, if you haven't heard about the bonus pool and how it operates and where that money, where you can direct that money and who gets what, everything like that. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Oliveri
of the Hampshire Charitable Foundation.
Hi,
Kristen.
Hi.
You kind of ran over. That was great. She's got
nice to see you. I have my sneakers on today,
I love
so
it. Great.
I can run. So
that's great. It's awesome. Tell us about the 450 and then maybe refresh memories about the bonus stuff.
Sure. So we still have about $450,000 left for matches. There are 100 organizations that still have matches on the table. So go to the website, menu, matches, you'll see the 100 organizations, you'll see all of the matches that are still up for grabs.
So we're making it simple for them. You can just go through like an a la carte menu.
Yes, everything that's available. And then for the bonus pool, again, any donation that comes in right now, the more an organization raises, the more that they'll take home from the bonus pool.
That's great.
So it doesn't matter how much you give. $5, $10, $100, anything helps. But if you do support organizations today, when you check out, you can also support the bonus pool so you can continue to boost all of the support that's going to these organizations.
And is the bonus pool being given out after it's all done, or is this happening during the process?
It will after it's all done, because we need to see the totals that organizations
That's fantastic.
raise.
So when they go to check out, if you think that you could do maybe a little bit more, maybe you could afford a little bit more, maybe you slide that particular leftover amount maybe into the bonus pool.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Excellent.
And we're giving you full flexibility. We want you to sort of maximize and shop around. We love options. It's great. So many different nonprofits. Remember, 590 participating organizations. Right. And are you happy with where we're at right now? I mean,
I'm absolutely happy. There's so much need, and we've already had over 10,000 people contribute to this. So
that's just fantastic.
It's amazing.
It's I left last night, and when I was driving home, you know, I was thinking about the stories that we had heard. I was thinking about the volunteers that are behind the scenes here in the studio, and people that aren't even here in the studio that worked on this event all year long. Yeah. And there's just no way you can be involved in this and not feel it. Yeah. You know, everybody is kind of, you know, leading with their heart and doing the right thing for the right reasons. So we appreciate all the volunteers, but most importantly, we appreciate you sitting at home, you know, watching on an iPad, or maybe you're even on a phone, or you're watching on your computer, but you're the ones that are making a difference. You know, we could volunteer all year long, all day long, and it wouldn't make a difference if you don't make a donation. So that's what we're all about, and it just feels great to be a part of this thing that so many New Hampshire neighbors are getting together to help their neighbors.
And Kristen, you're going to be around for the 2 hours?
I'm going to be here for the entire 2 hours.
Good. And you're going to help us sum it all up.
We have some prizes that we need to announce after it all wraps up.
Prizes coming up.
And we've got a few more prizes in the next couple hours too. So there's a lot of reasons to just stick around with us. Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're not just raising money. We're a heck of a lot of fun.
Scott is going to belly dance a little bit later. You're not going to want to miss that.
Yeah, I've added belly over the last few years, so it's going to really be a great one.
Oh, please.
Been practicing.
Give me a break. Please.
Thank you, Ms.
Great to
Kristen.
see you.
Yes,
Great to see
absolutely.
you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Appreciate
so
it.
we've got the prize announcement set. We've gotten things kicked off and running. I think it's time to focus in on a nonprofit.
Let's bring out our first in-studio guest, ladies and gentlemen. We want to bring him over. Matt Dubois is the executive director of the Patriot Resilient Leader Institute in Guilford, New Hampshire. Come on over and have a seat. Nice to see you, Matt.
Very nice to meet you.
How are you, sir?
Thanks very much. Appreciate you being
under
here.
the mic. That's good.
I didn't realize belly dancing and running was required.
Yeah, it's not really required. It's okay.
That's how we roll.
Matt, again, the executive director of Patriot Resilient Leader Institute in Guilford. They facilitate therapeutic retreats for military veterans, first responders, and their loved ones to help them cope with the devastating consequences of their service. They have held 83 different retreats since 2014, serving over 780 participants. And I'm going to start off with this, that I love that we live in a time where we recognize that there is need to pay attention to people that have done this kind of work and the after effects of it and helping them heal through it. And that is one of the great things about living in this day and age, is that we finally recognize it and are doing something to help.
That's a fact. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for everybody for creating this event.
You're welcome.
PTSD and other mental injuries are just like spraining your ankle. You can fix them. You just have to seek help, and that seems to be the biggest piece, is getting people in the door. And again, we're up to actually 85 retreats and just over 800 people now. So,
is it getting easier? Because I know there was always that resistance, like, I don't need help. I don't need help. But people seem now in the job, whether they're first responders or military, seem to be much more ready to go, yeah, I think I need some help. Are we seeing an increase in that? More people are, accepting the help and looking for it when they need it?
Yes, the stigma is not gone, but it's going away.
That's great.
In the military, we've got very senior leaders that put mental health days on their calendar for all to see.
Right.
In southern New Hampshire, the police have formed a thing called the Critical Incident Stress Management Team, which is essentially peer support for people that have come under some form of trauma.
Right.
And that is well supported by the chiefs of police and throughout the first responder community. So again, the stigma's not gone, but it is largely going away, and it won't be long if we move everybody in the right direction.
Moving in the right direction. That's what I was going to say.
Matt, what do these retreats look like? Can you take us through a high level? What do you do?
Absolutely. So our retreats are typically, and we do a whole host of different kinds of retreats. They're typically 3 to 4 days long.
Okay.
Typically start at noon on one day, and 3 or 4 days later at noon on the next day we'll stop. 3 components. The components are facilitated counseling. People love to those that are like-minded and have the same experiences. We do life skills workshops, and that sort of depends on what the flavor of the retreat is, and I'll get to that in a minute. And I think what sets our retreats apart from others is we do a lot of outdoor activities. So, and there's a lot of studies that say that outdoor activities are good for the soul and good for people that are suffering from mental issues.
Work the body, work the spirit.
Absolutely.
Right. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. And there's a recent study by, I think it's the Sierra Club, that basically says people that are suffering from PTSD or other things like that, when they get outdoors and do these kinds of things, they get better quicker.
Yeah, and that extends to even recovery. People going through recovery, that being outdoors and doing those kind of things works for such a myriad of different reasons and causes.
Yeah. Correct. And to get back to the multiple different kinds of retreats, we have retreats that are geared for couples, individuals, families, those that have suffered military sexual trauma, those that have suffered a host of other things. We have creative retreats. We do a couple of equine retreats a year. So we try to mix it up, and we're at 17 retreats this year, hoping to get to a total of 30, maybe even 40, because the demand is out there.
I'm not surprised by your numbers. And don't hold me to this, but I thought I read somewhere not that long ago, or was told by a veterans group, that there are somewhere in the neighborhood of 100,000 veterans or active service members in New Hampshire. We have one of the highest per capita veteran populations in the country. And when you start multiplying that out with neighbors, direct family members, and friends, you're talking about an impact of at least a third of the state easily of people that are somehow directly, closely connected to our veterans.
Correct. For a state that doesn't have any major military bases, we're approaching 10% of the population of
That's
veterans.
Remarkable.
And of course, you throw in first responders, and it depends on how you measure first responders.
Sure.
Because it really, not an easy term to measure, but there's about 100,000 in the New England area.
Right.
And again, I think what separates our veterans from our first responders, they experience different things, but they react the same, so they actually integrate well. We've done some combined retreats with them.
Right.
That works out well. But our first responders are largely still on the job.
Right.
Many of them are not retired, so our veterans don't necessarily go back to war, but our first responders are going back in the streets.
Right.
So many of them have told us that we've saved lives, and it may not be their life.
Right.
It may be the life of the person that they saved.
So are we talking police, fire, EMTs primarily when it comes to first responders, or does
Primarily,
that extend?
and dispatchers.
Yes.
And I say that because
Right.
dispatchers are sort of like the military drone operators.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not getting shot at, but what they see is horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, I have a law enforcement in my family, and some of the things they see, they can't unsee.
Exactly.
And helping them deal with that, you can only tuck that away and hide it for so long. But having the ability to check into a program and do a program like yours, one of those retreats, can be life-saving, not only for them, but for the people around them too, because they need to do their job well. So it's like you said, it's like a ripple that just goes into the other families and people throughout their lives.
It does.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
It's great that you're involving families.
Thank you. It's a couple of things worth mentioning is one, it doesn't cost anybody to come to our retreats. All we ask is that they get to us.
Right.
But also we have a 6-month follow-up program. We don't want them, the difference between when somebody walks in the door and when they walk out is almost immeasurable, and it makes everybody feel good. It makes me feel good, certainly. It's easy to get out of bed in the morning.
Sure.
But we want to follow up with them for 6 months afterwards to make sure that this sticks. So we give them some goals to chase, and we keep them in their group in a private social media setting where they can keep in touch with each other and us.
Yeah.
And we check in on them from time to time to make sure they're living up to what they said they wanted to do.
Do you find that the people who have gone through the program tend to come back because they want to perhaps pay it forward and help someone else as a peer-to-peer?
They're our best volunteers.
I bet they are.
They are our best volunteers. In
That's
fact, many of
fantastic.
the people on our board have been through our program. It really is a wonderful program that way.
There is one board member I want to mention. Kurt Weber received a 2022 Board Impact Award at the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits Nonprofit Impact Celebration, quote, for his service to the veteran and first responder communities as the founder of the Patriot Resilient Leader Institute.
Awesome.
When that kind of thing, you see that kind of recognition, that kind of awareness that gets raised, that's got to be part of what brings you joy in the job that you do.
Absolutely, and Kurt's a bit of a force of nature.
Yeah.
The origin story, he and a couple other guys were skiing. He's a veteran, a Green Beret. He lives in the Guilford area. They were skiing and they saw somebody ski by with some adaptive equipment and thought to themselves, man, this would be a great place to take care of veterans.
Yeah.
The beauty of the Lakes region and the mountains, and the idea was born, and honestly, we wouldn't be where we were if it weren't for Kurt's passion.
That is great. What a phenomenal program. And because you mentioned that people aren't paying anything, you already answered the question of what do you need. So you need the resources to be able to help to keep this program up and running.
That's a fact, and we're pretty efficient. We have 93 cents of every dollar goes to the veteran or first responder. It costs about $600. We're a program, not a place. We don't have a physical facility. We use those things around us. It costs about $600 a person to put them through our thing. But I mean, if you want to help a lot of people, that's a lot of money.
When you help somebody, and like you said, they become your biggest cheerleader, supporter, volunteer, that says everything you need to say.
You bet.
Because these are people that have experienced things that most people can't fathom, and yet they find in that service like rejuvenation and purpose. It's great. It's beautiful, wonderful.
Any
job.
organization where the customers and the employees are your biggest cheerleaders,
You're right.
you pretty much got lightning in a bottle.
You're right.
So Matt, thank you. This is the Patriot Resilient Leader Institute in Guilford. And I mean, this just really tugs on the heartstrings because we're talking about the men and women who have signed up to sacrifice, to serve others, to serve a cause greater than themselves. And there's no greater give back to these men and women than through this type of a program.
And PRLI is the blanket organization that runs Camp Resilience. Most people know us as Camp Resilience.
That's fantastic. Well,
great
thank
to see you, and thank you for your work.
Thank
Matt,
you.
thanks
Pleasure
a lot.
to be here, and thank you all.
It's great to meet you. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Appreciate that very much.
There you go. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Matt Dubois, everybody, the Executive Director of the Patriot Resilient Leader Institute in Guilford. That's the kind of broad spectrum that you can reach today through New Hampshire Gives, because we could talk. Last night we talked to a fiddle player and instructor that has a fiddle program, reaching out all across the state to youth and people that play the fiddle, and it's just. And then there was the horticulturist that was growing farm. I mean, it's such a broad spectrum. It's amazing. All of this goes on right here in New Hampshire.
It is. It's fantastic. And that's why we're so thrilled and honored to be sitting here to help raise these funds for 590 different organizations, because it literally covers the myriad number of interests that are possibly had here through our nonprofits and services like that. And kudos and hats off to Matt and all those who are helping our first responders and our veterans to help fight through whatever they have experienced that might be lingering, because like you pointed out, and it's so great to hear, the stigma is finally going away.
Yeah, and it should have gone away a lot sooner, to be honest with you. But the fact that we live in a time now where people recognize PTSD, they know it's real, and there are many things that cause it. The fact that we're dealing with it and losing that stigma is a win for everybody. So, and especially for our heroes.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So, and if I was going to throw down any challenge for people that are watching this to sort of go back to what you had said at the very beginning, it's that last year we had about 14,300 individual donors.
Right.
14,300 people that participated in this last year. Look at the numbers on your screen right now. We're at 10,700. We're getting tantalizingly close to that number from last year. If there was ever a challenge to throw out there, it would just be to text your friends, let people know around you, maybe just send a quick email to everybody in your business or whatever to say, hey, jump onto nhgives.org and check this out, because we would love to surpass the number of voters.
Yeah, and importantly, I mean, let's say you've already given. Let's say you've given as much as you can give. It's greatly appreciated. Look, everybody realizes how difficult times are now with the cost of gas, housing, grocery, inflation, all that stuff. So maybe you've already given. What's a way for you to continue to give and give more? Reach out to a friend. Yeah. Convince somebody, a family member, to say, look, I love this organization. Can you help me help them? Yeah. Or maybe they have an organization that they feel strongly about, or a cause they feel strongly about. Reaching out to other people in these last couple of hours are what's going to make a huge difference. And I'm not even afraid to say it, you will save lives. There are organizations that are involved in the 590 nonprofits that they save lives, and even Matt, like that organization, they'll save lives. In the long run, they'll save lives, and you can be a part of that.
It's inspiring. Yep. And the different causes still have such a huge impact on the quality of life and on the families, on the people, on the environment of New Hampshire. So the stories are out there, and it's incredible. And don't forget, like Greg said before, we've got over $400,000 in matching money that's just sitting there. So we're talking about a $5 minimum bid, so $5. $5 is really $10 just to even get it started. So that amount, that I'm way less concerned about that, because look at the number, it's incredible. The generosity is already obvious, but if we can just spread the word in these last couple hours to let a few more people know we're doing this, that's where the impact is felt.
I'm getting the eyeball.
You're getting the eyeball?
I'm getting the eyeball. I know when I'm getting the eyeball, and I've been getting the eyeball. It's okay.
Kristen Oliveri
One more
is back.
prize.
Here you go.
As we go into some nonprofit videos.
Another prize.
Thank you.
We're gonna, we have this one.
Thank you, Kristen.
One lucky nonprofit is going to benefit from the expertise of Loft Light Media to create a 90-second video showcasing their organization's story, and the winner was chosen at random from participating organizations who filled out an interest form. So they were interested, they filled it out, and the winner is the Hospice Help Foundation. So they're going to get a 90-second video showcasing what their story is. So that's pretty cool.
So that's something they'll be able to use all year long to be able to share their story of what they're able to do for others. That's wonderful.
And speaking of sharing stories,
we've got a few
more
to
to share some stories now.
Absolutely. How about Hand to Heart Project, the Historical Society of Cheshire County, and Linda's Closet? 3 more that we can feature right now.
Hi, my name is Jeanette, and I am a two-time breast cancer survivor within the last 4 years, and was introduced to the Hand to Heart program, which was a total game changer when it came to recovery, going through chemo, feeling absolutely awful, and having something to look forward to on the calendar that would make me feel at peace and loved, and I would forget I was battling cancer for even an hour.
For 15 years, this program has provided the comfort of touch and compassion to people who are suffering. We provide it in the clients' homes and without charge. Hand to Heart is based in the Upper Valley area and covers dozens of towns up and down the Connecticut River, as well as many communities to the east and west. Hand to Heart is a small miracle, but one that gets bigger every time we help a person or a family who's facing life-threatening or life-ending illness.
Hi, I'm Alan Rumrell, and I've had the privilege of sharing local history stories about the Monadnock region for 38 years as the director of the Historical Society of Cheshire County. Although the pandemic has presented us with significant challenges, I'm proud to say that we ended 2021 with 700 members, a 15% increase over the past 2 years. And we now have over 60 life members.
Hi, I'm Jenna Carroll, Education Director at the Historical Society. In 2022, we'll be offering some exciting programs. Look for a juried art exhibit on the relationship between nature and humanity in the Monadnock region, and an exhibit by well-known New Hampshire photographer Becky Field entitled Finding Home: Portraits and Memories of Immigrants. We will build on the success of Dr. Robert Goodby's new book, A Deep Presence: 13,000 Years of Native American History, by developing teacher resources and a teacher workshop on Abenaki history. And we'll continue to manage a citizen archivist project, training volunteers to assist us as we recover African American history in the Monadnock region.
We're looking forward to these and over 100 other programs this year, such as lectures, walking tours, a summer camp, films, Monadnock moments, and much more. With your support, we will continue to help people find their place in history.
Welcome to Linda's Closet, a 501c3 nonprofit in Keene, New Hampshire. We provide free women's clothing to individuals who find themselves in need and live in and around the Monadnock region of New Hampshire. Linda's Closet is a living memorial to the late Linda Oliver, who was a career professional with the New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services. She recognized the need in the region for women who were, in her words, were trying to set goals for themselves. She envisioned providing clothing for women trying to enter the workforce and asked her family and friends to develop a free clothing resource using her own clothing. Over the past 20 years, Linda's Closet has evolved from a small mobile clothing service to the cozy permanent space where we are today. At the Closet, we assist women in achieving life and career goals by providing clothing that is donated by women in the community and offering it at no cost. We offer a wide variety of clothing for all aspects of a woman's life, from professional attire to casual wear, school clothes, and even formal gowns. Clothing can also be provided to fill emergency needs. We are an all-volunteer organization, and our leadership and volunteers are committed to the privacy and independence of every client who comes to the Closet for clothing. Any monetary donations go towards our rent and operating expenses. Thank you for learning about Linda's Closet and for considering a donation to help us to continue providing free clothing to the women in the Monadnock region.
Welcome back, everyone, to New Hampshire Gives. It is about 25 minutes after 3. We've only got until 5 o'clock, so the clock is definitely ticking, but we still have no shortage of great stories and great causes to focus on as we wrap up the 2022 edition. And we are thrilled to welcome onto the stage now LaTonya Mucioli, the program manager of Gateways Community Services in Nashua. LaTonya, thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you. And now we understand that your programs, you offer programs and services to promote growth and independence for individuals who experience developmental disabilities, acquired brain disorders, and autism, as well as seniors and veterans in need of supports. With 3,000 clients statewide, wow, you're busy.
Very busy.
You got a lot going on. Tell us a little bit more about these programs. What do you do?
So I'm here representing our Adult Day program
Okay.
that services seniors and folks with disabilities. But we also have an autism program. We have early supports and services that service young children, I think 0 to 3. We have programs for adults living in the community that require some supports to remain independent. So we really service folks from birth all the way through their entire life.
This kind of feels like a labor of love for you, because we were just talking before we came on that your work with seniors started early on, right?
It did.
And it led you to where you are today. Tell me a little bit about that.
It did. So when I was 16, I started working in the kitchen just as a dietary aide at an assisted living. And I knew from that point on that I loved working with seniors. So the rest is history.
I love that. You talked about with the program that you just described, independence. That word just resonates with me because I get the sense that people just live happier, healthier, more rounded out lives if they're able to have that sense of independence, being able to live on their own, decide on their own. Is that like one of the key common goals that you have in your program?
Absolutely. So the purpose of our Adult Day Center is to allow folks that are living in the community to attend the program during the day. And we provide meals, snacks, different activities, and opportunities for them to socialize. This allows them to be somewhere safe with some supervision. They may not be safe to stay at home by themselves. And this also allows their caregivers some respite time. So they're able to work or get some appointments done, go grocery shopping. So this is really an alternative to assisted living or long-term care that allows seniors and folks with disabilities more of an opportunity to remain in the community as long as possible.
And how key is it? I mean, I know that, you know, it's now we recognize the importance of socialization with elderly. How important is that for them to have the connection with other people, to be able to interact with other people? Because that, it seems to me, and I'm not in the business, but it seems to me that also keeps them healthy and moving. Yeah?
It does. It has some medical advantages, as well as quality of life. So we had an individual who started this year, and she's 95. Can you imagine being 95 and making new friends and just, you know, having a group of people that you sit with at lunch and enjoy yourself with, trying new activities. We play basketball, we do bowling. So we do a lot of stuff that's probably not what you would be doing at home at 95 years old.
Yeah, good point. LaTonya, what are you hearing from the family members? Because as a very practical matter, this is a huge time investment to have a family member who has these very specific needs, maybe a lot of supervision, the kinds of services that are provided. What feedback do you get from them that you're able to give them that kind of a respite to run errands or to go work, things like that? What are they telling you?
They are very grateful for our program because it allows them to kind of restructure their relationship with their loved one. You know, we were seeing people, spouses even, coming in who were just really frustrated because they may have a spouse who has dementia or Alzheimer's, and they are constantly having to redirect them during the day and maybe losing their patience. So where they're with us all day long, they get to go home and enjoy being the husband or enjoy being the wife.
So I've been asking this throughout last night and today, the same question, because I really think it speaks to what you love about your job, and basically the question is, what makes you happy when you're doing your job? What sustains you? What lights you up in the middle of it in the afternoon when you're working?
So it's not like a normal work environment. My office is located in the center. So, you know, I might be working away on my computer dealing with budget stuff, and I'll hear laughing. And it's really nice to hear that. You hear other people enjoying themselves and having fun. We're also located inside of a high school. So we're located inside of Alvern High School in Hodgson. And the students also participate in the program. They volunteer.
That's great.
And they interact with our participants. So it's really nice to hear the students learning and our participants interacting with them and having fun.
Is that a bit of a recruiting tool? Do the students tend to be like, oh, I think I want to do that for a living? Are you seeing that?
So we are. So Alvern High School has a career and technical education section of their school.
Yeah.
So some of their nursing students that are in the health sciences program are looking to be certified as licensed nursing assistants, and they can receive clinical hours while participating in the program.
Oh, wow.
So they're
That's
under
great.
our nurse and their nurse instructor, so they get to get that hands-on experience.
I just reading about how you guys made the news on WMUR after helping a family so their daughter born with a rare genetic condition could return home after spending her first 11 months in the hospital. I can't imagine how great that family felt to have their daughter home.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's just fantastic. But it also speaks to maybe the level of need. 11 months in the hospital, that's a long stretch, and that's going to be an emotional drain on a family, on parents. So, that's fantastic that you were able to help make those kinds of connections.
And that's one facet of what you do.
Right.
Yes, that's just one department for us. So.
Right.
Do you rely at all on volunteers? Do you need volunteers to help with providing any of these services?
We're always welcoming new volunteers. We have, like I said, the students that volunteer, and often we have people come back who may have had a family member that was a part of our program in the past that want to volunteer as well.
So when you bring in a kid from Malvern High School and they're volunteering, do you see a little bit of yourself in that?
I kind of do. Well, we actually just hired one of our volunteers.
That's great.
She enjoyed volunteering in the program so much that she had applied, and she's now one of our activity aides.
That's great.
Wonderful.
Really nice.
Yeah.
LaTonya, thank you so much for your time.
That'll feel good doing that and going home at the end of the day, right?
It does.
Absolutely.
It's a fun job.
Good for
it's
you.
a fun job.
Good for you. Thank you
It's
for your
wonderful.
work. Thank
May
you
you
for
hear
what
plenty
do.
more laughter in your hallways.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
thank
Thanks,
you
LaTonya.
all.
We appreciate it. Thanks
Have a
so
great one.
much. So that's wonderful. LaTonya Mucioli, Program Manager of Gateways Community Services in Nashua. Just one of the 590 that we're highlighting over the course of this New Hampshire Gives 2022. A wonderful place to park a donation.
I love asking them about what brings them
It's
joy.
great. It's great.
Because really it's a peek into their world that we don't get to see. Like, the fact that, LaTonya was just saying she loves to hear laughter. Like, I don't know, but like my mom and dad are older, all right? They're elderly, obviously. And, hearing my mom laugh is the best.
Yeah.
Making her laugh is the best. And when you are caring for someone like that, and you can hear them laughing when you're not right there being the one making them laugh, you know that socialization is working. You know it has an effect, like LaTonya said, on their health, on their mental well-being. That's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
Beautiful thing.
And stop and think for a minute. So Matt helping veterans, LaTonya helping with the adult day services.
Sure.
Stop and think for just a minute what our daily lives and our daily challenges might look like without these programs. And I'm not saying that this is an event that prevents the sort of existential threat to nonprofits, but if you just stop and think for a minute what we would be dealing with if these folks weren't doing what they do every day. Because like you point out, they're not in the spotlight, but they're doing such critically important work to help families get through challenges that in some cases aren't month to month or year to year. They're hour by hour and minute by minute of dealing with some of these challenges that no one would wish on anyone. So these are really important programs, and these are folks that are just unsung heroes doing their jobs every day. I love it.
I said it at the beginning of today's stream that they're leading with their heart.
They are.
Right? When you ask them, with Matt before and LaTonya, you could tell they're 100% on board, and they believe in what they do, and they care about the people that they affect. So it's great to have people like that, so many people like that, with 590 nonprofits in New Hampshire that are participating. There's a lot of people like that in New Hampshire that care about the others in our state. So it's a great thing.
And let's throw down the idea of making sure that our young people, our youngest generation of students that are coming of age, that they are exposed to these kinds of programs and these efforts that are going on. Because like LaTonya said, at Malvern High School over in Hodgson, they're getting a chance to not just see the program, but participate in it. And I think raising awareness among young people that this is happening will help raise a generation of folks that are going to get back.
And a generation after that, because their kids will learn the same. It's the ripple effect.
Yeah,
it's
you
the
gotta
ripple
pay that
effect, and
forward.
it's a beautiful ripple effect.
It is,
right?
It absolutely is.
And we're here to sort of help you learn, and we learn as well about some of the nonprofit agencies and organizations throughout the state of New Hampshire. We'd like to take another minute here and show you a little video that'll do just that with the Greater Nashua Habitat for Humanity and the Flying Gravity Circus. Let's take a look.
Ever since 1999, the Flying Gravity Circus has been lifting up children through the circus arts experience. Do you remember, as a child or teenager, what it was like to discover that you were the captain of your own ship? In circus, kids develop physical mastery through skills that are challenging yet also fun. They develop mental capacities for setting goals and meeting them. And they build a social network so they can, working together, sail the ship we call circus. We coach kids to be captains at the Flying Gravity Circus.
I think they call it aerial dancing, I think.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, I
or
think
ribbon?
so. It's
ribbon?
ribbon dancing or something.
Something like that? It's very impressive. And you'll notice that that was happening with snow in the background.
Yeah.
So it's not like she was in a warm, heated environment.
So here we are. This is how we are. That's got to be cold, doing that right there. That is cold up there on that rope.
Where's my parka? Yeah, perfect.
Just taking a look at the screen here and talking about, we mentioned so many times, 590 nonprofits involved in the New Hampshire Gives Day, right? 569 of them already have received donations. Thank you very much for every single donation that you've made, and maybe you can make one more. Maybe you've already given what you can give financially, and that is so awesome, and thank you so much. Our gratitude for you runs deep, but maybe the way you could give more is to spread the word.
You bet. Yeah, just grab the phone, text a few people, remind them that there's still an hour and 20 minutes or so left for New Hampshire Gives 2022. Right. And there are only, at this point now, only 21 organizations left that haven't received any direct generosity yet. But let's not overshadow the fact that 569 organizations have received some donation.
And there is still, we talk about matches and we talk about the bonus pool, there is still $450,000 in match money on the table that can go to these organizations if you make that happen.
Yeah, and it's a really great thing that they've set up this year, as Kristen Oliveri from the Charitable Foundation has explained. These bonus dollars are here that will be essentially expended pretty much after the doors close on that, as we see what the totals look like. So there will be a few extra dollars and a chance for you to contribute to that as well, to just, again, pay it forward just a little bit farther.
We want to introduce you to one of our another one of our nonprofits here, and I think we're going to be sharing the screen. We would like to welcome to the stream Justin Monroe, the Executive Director of Grow Nashua. And Grow Nashua creates urban vegetable farms in Nashua and city schools and uses this common ground to empower people to foster relationships in the community. Grow Nashua is going to reach about 6,000 people in 2022 through gardens, school programs, public cooking, gardening classes, farm stands, and its curbside compost pickup. That's a lot going on there, which diverts about 150,000 pounds of food waste each year from Nashua's landfill. So, Justin, thank you very much for joining us. It's great to see you. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me. That was it's fun to listen to all those things that are going on. Makes me wonder how I have time to be here right now.
That's a pretty big slate of things. Now, if I understand it right, you and your wife Jessica started this program about 6 years ago. What was the impetus for it? How did you come to this?
Well, we were actually, she and I, in the beginning of spring, we were outside in our own garden here at my home, and we were just kind of thinking about how great it was to be outside. The beginning of spring when you just want to get outside and absorb the sunlight and do anything out there. We were just cleaning up.
Sure.
And at the time, there was a lot of information on the news about immigrants and refugees and being in Nashua. And we weren't really sure whether they were in Nashua, but we thought if they were, it might be something that they're feeling pretty detached from. Because we knew that we enjoyed it, both from this providing us food and also from the fact that it's something that's just mentally healthy to be out there and doing something that you enjoy. So we were like, hey, maybe we should give a little section of our yard to a family if somebody lives in town here. And then as we started thinking, we were like, well, that could just be one family. Maybe there's more families out there. And so as we started doing some research, we realized that Nashua does take in a lot of refugees from other countries. And we did have a population of people that were interested in growing some food. And so we kind of just got connected in with the United Way of Greater Nashua. They kind of directed us and connected us with St. Joe's Hospital here in town. St. Joe's Hospital was like, we love this. This would be good. You know, people from other countries that are here tend to feel pretty isolated. Not so much immigrants. They have their kind of, oftentimes people travel in communities and they have community, but refugees really kind of end up being isolated. So they were like, let's give this a try. So our first year we had 20 different families from 12 different countries in a plot outside of the hospital. And from there, it's just kind of blossomed every year. We've added a little bit more. We just kind of do the next right thing every day, and just believe that it's the good work that we're putting forward that's making a difference in people's lives.
It sounds like great work, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about farming and raising their own food, which obviously is healthy for them, but also and sustainability. Plus, it also has to help their frame of mind, their sense of independence, as well as purpose. Right? I would imagine.
Yeah, and oftentimes people can't grow. They can't grow the things that are from their home country because they don't sell in the grocery stores here. The grocery stores don't really know that there's much of a demand, and even if you combined everybody together, there wouldn't be a huge demand. So we've been able to, over the years, source product that's culturally appropriate for families. So we have people from all different spots around the world that are growing with us that come here, and we're intentionally trying to get those extra pieces of extra seedlings and extra seeds that people can use to grow their food that's from their native to their country.
That's great.
So Justin, this is maybe a bit of a teachable moment that goes both ways, right? I mean, you're potentially helping these refugee families learn about what sort of grows in the ground in New England. That's the most common foods here that they may not necessarily know a lot about. But vice versa, they're teaching you about what some of their dietary desires are and what can grow here that we've not considered.
Absolutely. And we try to do a lot of our programming in a very full circle motion. So the Cooking Matters program that the New Hampshire Food Bank runs has been a great partner of ours for years. They've come in with these cooking classes and said, hey, here's the food that you guys just grew. Let's figure out how to cook it. So that could be the things that are native to here in Nashua, but also some of the things, like you said, we're learning from them and they're learning from us. And same thing with farming practices. Same thing with the general, sense of patience. I've learned a lot of from other countries. We're very fast around here, and maybe the sense of urgency is a little too much sometimes. But so it is nice to learn from and friendships. And at the end of the day, all of our programs are really about community building. We're in the schools. We're teaching these kids in the school gardens how to grow food, how to put their hands in the soil, and we're working with their parents in the community gardens, and then we give out food at a little free farm stands that's available every day of the week through this summer. So it's really it's really a whole picture. It's how do we help people? How do we connect with people? Because then what's awesome about that is when we have connections with people, and for example, last year, Patagonia was like, hey, we have 300 coats that we can't sell. They're either gently used or they were returned and we can't sell them as new. Do you have families that you can get them to? And we were able to get them out within 24 hours.
Wow, that's great.
So that's the type of thing that if we have these connections, we can make happen.
Justin Monroe with us, the executive director of Grow Nashua, and I know that everybody feels, the pinch at the grocery store with the rising prices. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the Little Free Farm Stand program and how you're helping there.
Yeah, so the Little Free Farm Stand program, we kind of just came up with this idea of like, hey, what would happen if, I always have an extra two zucchini that I am always like, who wants these? And my neighbors have had enough and they might grow and they have too many. And everybody's like, I don't know what to do with the zucchini. So that kind of inspired the idea of like, all right, if everybody had two and we have 20,000 households in Nashua, not everybody's growing a Gordon, but that's 40,000 zucchinis, right? So we thought, what if we helped? What if we were the interim, that middle body that took in all of these produce, two pieces at a time, and then redistributed them? So our first year, we were fortunate enough to partner with one of the local churches here, and they're members of the church were actually donating food, and we were able to, as well as an organization called New Hampshire Gleaners, so we were able to take in this food and then redistribute it out to the community. At the tune of 1,500 pounds. 1,500 pounds. And then last year, we were able to triple the size due to a sponsorship with Service Credit Union, and we gave out 7,500 pounds. And this year, our goal is 15,000 pounds. And we're going to actually, we're raising money to purchase a truck here eventually in the next 3 weeks or so that we can we set up little free farm stands that are physical locations right in the heart of where people are most food insecure in the most inner city neighborhoods. And this year, we're going to also be able to kind of drive into those tight, in Manchester and Nashua, you get those tight street corners, those tight streets where you can't put anything. You can only park a little pickup truck, flip on our ice cream truck sound, let neighbors know that we're there, and people come out and get veggies. Right. So that's kind of the vision. I hope they're not upset that it's not ice cream, though.
This is great. Justin, do you need?
Yeah.
It's a zucchini.
It's a zucchini truck.
It's still great, though. That's a great idea.
Do you need people donating to you? I don't want to start this avalanche of zucchini coming your way from around the state, but do you need people to donate food?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to shift the mindset of our culture of being food consumers to really being food producers. Like, let's take some control. Let's bring in some extra food. Because any extra food that we have that we raise that we cannot distribute directly to the families at the end of each day, 7 days a week, we're distributing food from Little Free Farm Stand. At the end of the day, if we have left over, we drop it off at a pantry, or we drop it off at the veterans home, or we drop it off at a mothers in transitional housing. So there's a zero waste here. So what we're doing is creating zero waste across the board with this fresh food, but we're also introducing a whole bunch of fresh food. And people say when they come, you taste a tomato out of my home garden, it tastes different than anything you're going to get at the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
And the people and our clients, our people that come, the families that come and get this food, they're like, man, this is great food. This is the best. I can't get this anywhere. I can't buy this. I can't drive to a local farmer's market or a farm. I don't even have a car. Mm-hmm. And that's the reality of what people are struggling with, So we're there to kind
Scott
of
was asking about, do you need help? Do you need for people to donate food? Well, what other kind of help do you need at Grow Nashua?
Right off. We have an amazing crew of volunteers year over year. We have probably 300 people that engage with us yearly. Wow. We couldn't do the work that we do without them. We have amazing partners in the city. Anybody that lives in Nashua that wants to get involved or wants to start their own avenue of outreach within our program, we also have started a few smaller projects from Grow Nashua that have sprouted out and become their own thing. So we're living the name of Grow Nashua. We're right in Nashua. We grow stuff, whether it's people or food or you name it. That's what we're doing. So yes, we'll take food. If people are interested, they can click on the little button that's the Little Free Farm Stand. They can sign up at whether they need food or whether they have food. They can sign up on that same spot. So we're just moving forward. We're doing what we're doing. We have we have a couple of matches going on right now that are still available. So we would the other thing that we just need is just funding to keep this going. We've doubled in size of the people that we've served in our 5 years that we've been doing this. So we're making some headway.
So those matches going. If you want to help Grow Nashua, make a donation, and that donation gets doubled. You get matched, so that's a pretty great thing.
And I just got to, before we let you go, I got to give you mad props. 150,000 pounds pulled out of the Nashua landfill by diverting the food waste. That's a big number. That's a big impact. Congratulations.
Yeah. We've all of our landfills in the state are going to get filled up. So we're doing what we're doing. We're returning that food waste from people's house, return it to the soil, we turn it into energy. There's again zero waste, and we're also, the other purpose of that is it generates revenue back into the organization, and it creates green jobs that we can employ our program participants to do, because driving the truck and running the service does not require a lot of English skills. It just requires, a driver's license and the ability to do some basic stuff. But again, that's a good paying job for a family that needs to break that poverty cycle. So it's all intertwined. Anybody that's coming up in Grow Nashua was people that grew in the soil with us initially.
Well, congratulations on a job well done, Justin.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And
Justin,
thanks for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
Definitely.
Carry on the good work.
Right?
Thank you both.
You got it.
That's a lot of work going on. Thank you,
man.
Justin.
Thank you, man.
That's impressive. That's a whole lot, and he's sort of closed the energy loop, if you will.
Yeah.
That's very impressive.
You think about families, he's talking about immigrants and refugees coming. I mean, to be able to grow food that is native to their culture and working to get that. You can't just walk into a greenhouse and just get that kind of thing.
No.
That's got to be a pretty good feeling for an immigrant or a refugee to get their home, the food they grew up with. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Awesome.
That's great.
And a learning moment for us here in New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Figuring out, hey, I didn't think we could grow this. So that's just very cool. So another example of one of the wonderful beneficiaries of your generosity that you can donate to in the next 60 some odd minutes and as we close out New Hampshire Gives 2022. In fact, we've got another video feature for you. Why don't you take a closer look at Future in Sight?
Thank you for considering New Hampshire Gives and allowing me a moment to show you how a donation to Future in Sight can transform a life. I know because 30 years ago, it changed mine. I'm Randy Pierce, president of Future in Sight. And when my sight loss journey began 30 years ago, I felt helpless, hopeless, isolated, and alone. That's until our team of professionals arrived to help me, to show me the training and tools and just the right services necessary to teach me that I could live and thrive with independence, competence, and confidence. And we do that same thing for the 22,000 people here in New Hampshire who need our services and our training. But we need help to do that. And that's why we're reaching out to you, because we want to share with them that they will know a better future is in sight, thanks to Future in Sight and your gift to us.
Thank you so much and welcome back to New Hampshire Gives. We are almost 23 hours in on this 24 hours of broadcasting and raising funds here in June of 2022.
We're coming in on, I don't want to say it.
No, go ahead and say it.
I don't like that.
You can't start that sentence.
We're almost at
and
3 million.
We're
almost at 3 million.
We're almost there.
It's crazy.
11,000 donors.
Beautiful thing.
571 organizations.
I've said it a million times. I will say it here. I will say it on our radio show when we do fundraising for nonprofits. New Hampshire answers the call every time.
Every time.
You could sit there and you could show me an article that says, oh, nationally, nonprofit giving is down. And maybe it is. I don't know. But I know when you ask people in New Hampshire to help people in New Hampshire, the call is answered every time. And I'm sure maybe Maine and Vermont can say the same thing. Massachusetts maybe too. But I'll tell you, it never fails with New Hampshire. And that's such a great feeling of pride to have, being from the Granite State and knowing that our neighbors care that much about their other neighbors.
Yes.
So,
this is an investment in our own quality of life.
Exactly.
So many different programs that are helping us in one way, shape, or form. I mean, talking to Justin about keeping food waste out of a landfill, talking to LaTonya earlier about helping adult day services.
Yeah.
There are just so many different ways that we're helping each other. And it's why New Hampshire is a place that people want to come and settle down in and raise a family and retire in. This is a wonderful state.
Right.
And it's because of the kind of community giving and community supports that we have.
Yeah, you get a lot of people that want to reach out and help you out. And I actually want to do a shout out for our friends here at New Hampshire Public Broadcasting System. This is their beautiful studio that they've given us.
Absolutely.
They do such great work.
Yes, indeed.
Excuse me. And so thank you to New Hampshire Public Broadcasting System here in Durham. They're awesome. They're great to work with. And they don't have to do it. The volunteers that are here in the room, they don't have to do it. They do it because they care, because they know it makes a difference and it affects people's lives. And even saving lives, which is a beautiful thing. And you're the one that makes it happen. Yeah. So thank you very much.
And this day, this event that you're all participating in, it really was a conversation that started in earnest. The homework assignment really began aggressively some 6, 7, maybe even 8 months ago.
Yeah.
So this day is the culmination of a lot of work and a lot of volunteer hours from a great wide number of people, including the nonprofits who were really rallying together and saying, okay, what are we doing this year? How can we help out? How can we get the word out? And they did a lot of work to help spread the word to do something like this, which is what makes the bonus match and the matching dollars that are still available right now that much more valuable, because we have a lot of corporate friends and folks that have ties to grant dollars and the kinds of money that we're allowed to put up to match and stretch your donations to just make the give that much greater.
Maybe you've already given. Maybe you're saying, how can I stretch my donation? Very simple. We got an hour to go. You could stretch your donation. You could give more if you can, if that's great, awesome. But if you can't, you could stretch your donation by texting a friend and having them make a donation, or a family member, or somebody you know that has a cause or a nonprofit that they are fond of. What a great way to reach them all in one day. 590 organizations will benefit. So maybe in this last hour, maybe you could reach out and text a friend, email them, call them, and say, hey, this is going on at nhgives.org. Maybe you could check it out and you could help out this agency, this nonprofit, or something that they personally are committed to as well.
It's a great idea.
Spreading that word is what's going to is what's going to put us over the top.
Yeah, and at least for this last hours, we're ticking down to just about 4 o'clock. For the last hour, we still have a good handful of videos, remote interviews, and folks that'll be right here with us in studio to talk about the kinds of things that they're doing every day that could use just a little bit of your help. Just a little donation goes such a long way. And one of the things that I'm amazed by, that is a definite theme of all the folks that we talk to, is how well they're able to stretch their resources.
Oh, yeah.
Limited as they might be, they know how to stretch a dollar and make it work.
That's the art of it. I mean, one of the nonprofit heads that we talked to yesterday, and forgive me for forgetting his name, he was talking about how hard it is. How hard it is.
Sam
from
Clean Energy.
That's right. It was Sam, and he was talking about how hard it is to be at the helm of a nonprofit, because every day, like a lot of businesses, you're faced with stretching every single dollar and making it count. And when that dollar is given to you by people who donate and believe in what you're doing, it's even more important to you, because you're not playing with house money. You're playing with other people's money, trying to make it work in the cause that they support and that what they're doing. So, that's one thing that to run a nonprofit is incredibly difficult. And bravo to everybody who sits in that chair, because it is not easy.
It is not easy at all. And you know, why don't we take a minute and let's call in via remote by broadcast another one of our friends. We talked about it a second ago, Future in Sight. I'd like to introduce Courtney. I believe it's Hoppe. Is it Hoppe, Courtney?
It's Hoppe. Yep. Hoppe with an E.
Excellent. Courtney Hoppe, Director of Development, Marketing, and Communications for Future in Sight in Concord. Future in Sight is dedicated to transforming the lives of those who are blind, visually impaired, and their families. So Courtney, tell us a little bit about what kinds of programs you're offering to families through Future in Sight.
Future in Sight is well over 100 years old. This organization was founded in 1911 and was originally called the New Hampshire Association for the Blind. So many of your viewers may remember us under that name. In 2017, we rebranded as Future in Sight to bring a little bit more excitement and energy to our brand, so to speak, as a nonprofit. But what we do is we work with all ages of folks, thousands of people throughout New Hampshire, that we're talking about children, babies, full-fledged youth, adults, elderly, who are blind or visually impaired, have some sort of impairment, and we figure out what their needs are. What do you still want to be able to do? Do you want to read books? Do you want to be able to walk to your friend's house? Do you want to be able to still work? What are your personal goals? And we have a slew of individuals who work for us, trained individuals, who then work with our clients to figure out how to give them the tools and training to still meet their goals and feel some sort of independence. And as a result of that, we're not just helping our clients, we're also helping their families and friends, all the other folks that are within their circle that they'd be leaning on to live out their lives.
I'm wondering, like, how does technology play, new technology that's coming out all the time to make life easier for those that are visually challenged? How big a role does technology play in that?
Technology is huge. Technology has 100% played a role in helping us do what we do to transform the lives of those who are blind and visually impaired. It's not just about reading Braille anymore. Braille still has its place, But tech tools, our CEO, who you saw in the video that played just before I came on, his name is Dr. Randy Pierce. He is 100% blind, and that man can use an iPhone better than I can use an iPhone. So it is unbelievable, the tools that are out there. Everything from screen readers, obviously audio plays a big role in it. So if somebody still wants to read books, audiobooks become the option. But a lot of tech tools. There's actually a cool app where someone who's blind, they actually pull up a live person on that app, and that person helps them get oriented around a room. So if you're traveling and you're blind or visually impaired, you're staying in a foreign hotel room, your house, you've kind of mapped it out over time. But if you're in a foreign space, you can pull somebody up, they'll walk through the space with you and explain to you, you have a window to your right, the bed is to your left, the doorway's over here, the bathroom's over here, and help you map it out so you can move within that space in a safe way. So
That's
it's amazing. And that's what we do, is help expose our clients to what's out there, because they have no idea, and help train them on how to use these tools. And you have to think about the fact, a large number of our clients are elderly because they're progressively losing their sight over time or have some progressive eye disease and not necessarily comfortable with technology because they didn't grow up with it. And that's where we come in, is to help them get more comfortable and find the tools that are going to work. But, Braille still has its place, and the analog phone with the large numbers still has its place, and large print still has its place. Large print helps me. I have my readers. I see you have your readers. That's all.
Yes. Can't leave home without them. So, Courtney, I have a question. So that's a fascinating description, and I love how technology has become such an amazing aid to bring that sense of independence to people that have any problems with their sight. But I'm wondering, is the community increasingly receptive to making sure that the accommodations are there so that these people's light can shine brightly with the contributions that they might be able to make, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in recreation, whether it's just hanging with family? Are you seeing the proper community supports, and what message do you have to the community for helping those whose sight may not be exactly 20/20?
Well, when it comes to technology is not cheap. So that's the biggest piece of the puzzle, right? Sure. So not all of our clients have access to those tools. So that's another way in which we come in. We can help find, a partnering program or a way for them to get support in order to get the tools they need. So that's where, New Hampshire Gives and our donors come into play in such a huge way, is to help us get access for our clients to these tools that aren't necessarily inexpensive for them to get. But yes, the community is 100% embracing these ideas, but we need, obviously it to be embraced more.
You have a big event coming up this weekend, right? Tell us about the festival coming up this weekend.
Thank you for bringing it up, so I didn't have to slide it in myself. Yes, so we have a huge fundraising event. This is our annual fundraising event. It's called the Festival for Future in Sight. It's taking place at the NHTI campus in Concord on Saturday morning. It's the first time we're doing the festival, but it incorporates our annual Walk for Sight. So this is actually the 19th year of the Walk for Sight. Many of our clients participate in it. And help raise funds as well, them and their families. We added a 5K run this year, the Run for Sight 5K. And then we have a bunch of festival-like fun activities for anybody to participate in when they join. Oh, did we hit 3 million? I was hoping I would do it.
We interrupt this conversation about June 11th. Stick with us, Courtney. We'll come back on that.
You were so locked in, Courtney. You just rolled right on through it. I love that. I love that. Caught me by surprise, too. I'm like, let the lady speak.
That's right. That's amazing. So, all right. So hang on a second, Courtney. Let us pause and reflect on the fact that we just crossed 3,011,300 donors.
Unbelievable.
Incredible. 572 organizations.
You did it, Courtney.
Courtney, thanks. You pushed us over the top. Without you, we're still sitting in the high twos. So thank you so much.
Can I just say, because you talked about Dr. Randy Pierce, the head of the organization. What an amazing story his whole life has been. I was introduced to him many years ago.
Really?
I think he was the New England Patriots Fan of the Year going way back when. But he's had an amazing, inspiring story that if you ever get a chance to hear it or look it up, I'm sure it's online.
That's awesome.
He's been featured on television many times. There's no quit in that man. There is no quit in that man. There's nothing he cannot do. It's unbunbelievable. It's a very inspiring story.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that.
And Courtney, let me just jump back in here, because I want you to be able to review the festival again. So the 2022 Festival for the Future in Sight on June 11th. You've got a 19th annual Walk for Sight, the first annual Run for Sight 5K, and you're still asking people to sign up, right? They can still come and join in on this and participate. Tell us how they can get involved.
So you have until noon on Friday to register for the walk or run, but you could still show up the morning of. So that's the pre-registration cutoff. So please do go to our website, futureinsight.org. If you don't feel like getting some exercise, you can still donate in support of the event, or you can just show up and cheer everybody on. Dr. Randy Pierce, whom you just mentioned, will be running in the event. So this is the thing about this guy. He is not only our CEO, he was previously a client of the organization. And this man has climbed to the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. He is a double black belt. And he has won. He hasn't just run in them. He has won multiple marathons. This man has done things that people who are fully sighted has not done. So he is a full-on inspiration to our clients and to me. It's such an honor to work with him every day.
I only know him from a distance, and he's an inspiring guy and has been since I think I was introduced to him and I interviewed him back in the late 80s. And his story was amazing then. And then I knew he climbed Kilimanjaro. It's a story. It's the movie stuff. A movie should be made of the guy.
Somebody call Tom Hanks.
Absolutely.
Call Tom Hanks over there.
Courtney, you put us over the top. Look at that. 3 million. Wow.
Courtney Hoppe, thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. Thank you for a beautiful story and just an inspirational effort to help those who are having challenges with sight. And wow, just a wonderful thing that's going on this weekend, too. And we hope a lot of folks will show up and help celebrate Future in Sight.
Thank you for the work you do, Courtney. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Courtney. Wow. So, wow, yeah. And see, I love how it comes full circle, that you knew who Randy was. Yeah. You'd interviewed him before.
As soon as I saw his picture, I'm like, I know that guy.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about New Hampshire. It's about relationships. Everybody... At some point, you spend enough time in this state, you're going to know a lot of people. Right. You're going to bump into a lot of the same folks.
You hear a story like his, you don't forget it.
No.
You do not forget it. I mean, seriously.
Seriously, there needs to be a movie made after him. That's
right.
incredible.
Right.
Unbelievable. Well, and so that yet another place to be able to invest in an unbelievable and worthy cause. We're past $3 million. Thank you so much for this level of generosity. It's just incredible. We have about 45, 50 minutes left before we wrap up this year's edition of New Hampshire Gives. nhgives.org. Text some friends. Let folks know. Spread the word a little bit. Kick out an email to the reply all of a lot of folks that you know that might not know about this. And let's see if we can just get a little bit more. But that's a wonderful organization, Future Insight, to support.
Hey, we're all about spreading the word for other organizations and nonprofits in New Hampshire. We're going to take a couple minutes now and show you a couple more featuring the Breakthrough Manchester at the Derryfield School and the Gundalo Company. Let's take a look.
My name is Kamaya Parker Hill, and I am a second-year student at American University in Washington, D.C. When I learned about Breakthrough, I was a little fifth-grade student, and I have not left since. I was so fascinated with education, and I was so excited to be part of a community that was going to allow me to do just that, and that was learn. Breakthrough gave me the opportunity to become a better student by challenging me in leaning into discomfort and being a leader for not only others but for myself. I've realized how important self-advocacy is in paving your own path in this world. And it forced me to be comfortable in the uncomfortable and speak up during certain conversations. I think that was one of the most valuable lessons that I got from Breakthrough. My fondest moment of the program was being a teaching fellow. it gave me the opportunity to come full circle and to realize how amazing of a community Breakthrough is, and how teaching students is the best thing that could happen. Thank you all for being here, and without your support, I would not have the advantages that I have as a student right now. Breakthrough is truly a community, and every single person has had a lasting impact on our future leaders.
The Gundalow Company is an educational nonprofit with a mission to protect the Piscataqua's maritime heritage and environment through education and action. This 65-foot reproduction of a Gundalow sailing barge is our floating classroom for school field trips, summer camp programs, public sales, and private group outings. New Hampshire Gives boosts our fundraising efforts by connecting both new and longtime donors right as our sailing season is starting. We're so very thankful for the community that rallies every year to make this campaign a success.
Gundalow, beautiful boat,
Just
down
gorgeous.
right at Portsmouth on the pier there. And I was just telling Scott that I watched that Gundalow sail in front of the setting sun and the Memorial Bridge on Saturday night, and it was the whole downtown Portsmouth area. The port area is just beautiful, especially in the early evening. So it's that's a gift to the Seacoast area.
It's
right
great.
there.
Yeah, it's like living in a postcard out there in that city. It's just absolutely beautiful. You take a lot of gorgeous photos of downtown Portsmouth.
It's a gorgeous place.
It
pretty
is.
easy.
It's
Pretty
very
easy to shoot. You know,
Very,
MJ
very
knows
pretty.
what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
We want to bring in another friend, and we'd like to welcome to the magic screen. Johnny Bassett is with us, the data and research editor from Granite State News Collaborative. How you doing, Johnny?
Good. How are you doing?
Good to see you. The Granite State News Collaborative is a statewide multimedia news collaborative that draws on and amplifies the strengths of its 20 members to expand and add missing dimensions to coverage of issues of concern to the New Hampshire public as a whole, as well as to particular communities. And nowadays, you know, the news landscape changes daily, you know, and you need other perspectives out there, and that's part of what you guys do, right? What was the impetus to start the collaborative?
Yeah, so the collaborative started a couple of years ago when, as we know, outlets across the state started to have some trouble, and there just wasn't as much funding available to resource the journalists, and so local coverage started to suffer. And so what people started thinking was that, well, maybe we should start sharing resources between outlets, and it should be more of a cooperative process, even though we're still competitors and still racing to get the headlines, trying to make sure that everybody will get through the hard times that journalism is going on now. And that really came together at the beginning of the pandemic, because then, as we all know, things got really tight. And so the collaborative started doing two things, and that's what we do now. We started sharing articles between the outlets, and so that lets a newspaper in Berlin, for example, take advantage of reporting that was done in Concord or in Keene or on the Seacoast. And then we also do our own original reporting. And those are we focus on statewide investigations that no single outlet would have the resources to do on their own. Those are the two things that we do now, and that's how it came together.
When you were talking about being a collaborative and sharing stories, that is so crucial for print journalism today and online journalism, because they just don't have the funds to pay reporters to be all over the state like they used to. So that sharing network creates, you know, great reporting from all over the state, and it's pretty much reachable for everybody.
Yeah, and Johnny, what do you see from your perspective, now that you're rallying these resources? From your perspective, what's lost if we don't have these kinds of collaboratives and events or decisions are made without any real, like, fourth estate scrutiny?
Well, I mean, for one, people just don't know what's going on in their communities. And if you don't know the story of your community, you're not going to identify with it. You're not going to get engaged with the issues. You're not going to know what to stand up for if something's important to you, because you don't even know that it's going on. So if things are just happening and they're passing everybody by and you just don't know about it, things start to unravel really quickly. And especially if all you're getting is national news that has no grounding in the local reality, things get pretty warped really quickly. And we see that in different ways, but that's our belief in the collaborative, that local journalism is really worth fighting for. And the collaborative is our way of doing that by making it more cooperative.
It's 100. You're 100% right, because we live in a state that used to, news was everything, right? The local newspaper reported on every minute of a city council meeting. You knew what was happening in your town. You knew what the decisions that were being made or what the options were, and you got involved. But nowadays we live in a time, obviously, where the media is everywhere. It's almost overwhelming, especially with the opinion-driven, and regardless of side, the opinion-driven media that's out there today. You're serving a purpose that is vital to the small towns throughout New Hampshire. That this is what we existed on for many, many years, and it's just as important now today, because that's how you find out what's going on in your own community. So good work.
Yeah,
Johnny. Another piece to this too is the newsrooms themselves that are struggling to try to figure out how to remain in operation. What sorts of feedback are you getting from news directors, folks that are having to put a product out every day to talk about what's gone on over the last 24 hours, about how important this collaborative effort is?
Well, the one thing that hasn't changed is that each of the outlets know their own communities better than anybody else. So they've kept up that rhythm, and they've continued to publish those articles that are of the most importance to their local readers. But what we have heard, and what's been really fun for us to hear, is that we've been able to help outlets across the state hear about things going on the other side of the state that they otherwise wouldn't have heard about, but they can now offer it to their readers in their own pages. And that was especially true during COVID. So one of the things that we started doing was all of the outlets started contributing their COVID reporting. Some of that was data-driven, some of that was traditional reporting. And we released that to all of the outlets at the same time. And that let everybody get on the same page and keep up when everybody's resources were being stretched the thinnest.
That's great.
You're the collaborative's doing with NHPBS is doing a collaborative public affairs program called The State We're In. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my fearless leader and my boss, Melanie Plenda, is the host of State We're In. And so every week what she does is she talks with key decision makers or journalists who are working on the big issues that we're reading about in the news that week. And it's a 25-minute program where they just talk it through and give people a different way to engage with the issues if they're not seeing it in print.
Sure, that's great. And you're also working on, with the collaborative, a multi-year effort to deal with race and equity issues. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I mean, race and equity those are issues that people are talking about all over the country, and they show up in a unique form in New Hampshire. And so it's really important that we localize it and we figure out how this applies to us, to what extent and in what ways these issues apply to us. But of course, equity and race are really broad issues, and so they have lots of different aspects. And so some of those things are school funding issues, which we've been talking about for ages in New Hampshire, or about police reforms, things like that. So these issues, they've come up through COVID, they've come up through education-related issues, through State House reporting, through housing market issues. That's what we've been reporting a lot on recently. So that's the broad umbrella that we're using to unite a lot of the work that all of our outlets are doing. And we help to weave it together and then add our own original reporting on top of that.
That's great.
We've talked a lot throughout the last day about how nonprofit organizations are the fabric, the fabric that binds all of our communities. And I would add to that local reporting is as well. It's, in a way, as I sit here and I listen to you talk, I'm kind of thinking that you're keeping the small town newspaper alive in 2022.
No doubt.
Just with that shared perspective of local reporting, which is so important, which, we've seemed to lost track of that, so I think the work you're doing is very important. So congratulations.
Yeah. And our best to Melanie Plenda, because this really is an operation, a nonprofit exercise of information sharing and First Amendment free speech, information pieces that are just so critical to the people of New Hampshire and the decisions that we all make, because an informed public makes better decisions. Sure. So we appreciate you, Johnny, and thank you for your effort with the collaborative.
Thank you.
You got it. Johnny Bassett, data and research editor of the Granite State News Collaborative.
It's great.
It was every day it was about reading the paper.
Right?
Every single day it was about, and Sunday reading it was the local paper. I wasn't reading the Boston Globe, man. I was reading the Foster's Daily Democrat.
When I started radio in the early 90s, myself, doing news, I was one of 5 reporters in a radio station that was not a nonprofit exercise.
Sure.
And so there was a full team of us just working in Greater Manchester AM radio.
And what year was that?
That was 1993, 94.
I had been in radio 7 years when that happened. I'm old. You probably saw me on Jurassic Park. I was one of the dinosaurs. I don't know if you knew that. Whatever.
Velociraptor right here. But that just shows the resources like that non-existent in traditional media. It's shifting technology, and with that, we have to make sure that we figure out how to invest those resources to make sure those stories are still told.
But that's the great thing about the Granite State News Collaborative is they're keeping that old-fashioned, and I don't want to say that because it makes it sound less important. That sort of frame of mind and that viewpoint, traditional, current, by doing what they do. So that's important work right there.
I'm seeing meaningful.
Getting the eyeball.
Yeah, the boss is back.
Hey, boss.
What's up, boss?
Guys.
Kristen Oliveri from the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation.
I have some updates
for
you.
I like updates.
So, what time is it? How much time?
We
still have about
we got
half an hour.
36 minutes.
So we still have about $400,000
still
matches.
Oh wow!
So go to the website.
Yep.
Upper right-hand corner, menu, matches. You see all the matches that are still up for grabs.
Okay,
that is a way to stretch your donation.
Matches. Yeah, that's great. $400,000. I mean, this number can jump right up real quick, doubling all these donations. And
so we also have another prize
hot off the presses, brother.
Prizes. We've got prizes, everybody. The complimentary wealth screening prize offered by Harvest Development Group, a wealth screening of 500 donors and a 1-hour debrief session of the screening, and the winner was chosen at random for participating organizations who filled out an interest form. And the winner is Breakthrough Manchester at the Derryfield School.
Hey, all right. We just highlighted them a second ago. That's wonderful.
Yep.
Well, thank you for that. And thank you, Miss Kristen.
And
appreciate
lastly, just some shout outs to some donors who have been giving.
Brilliant.
Very important.
Here we go. We got a couple of them.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Kristen. So Debbie Kane gave $25 to New Hampshire Civics.
Very nice.
Mary Beth Mossy gave $50 to Granite State College, a wonderful cause. And Jeffrey Bell gave $100 to the Granite State Organizing Project.
Very nice. A very big thank you to Nola Frost, who gave $100 to NAMI of New Hampshire. Gloria Norris donated $100 to Girls at Work. And Joseph Wellington, $50 to the American Independence Museum. This money gets stretched, it gets doubled, it gets matched, and makes a difference and helps change lives. So thank you.
And I'll tell you what, if you're looking for a few other ideas, check out this next video featuring Arts in Reach, New England Healing Sports Association, and the Community Caregivers of Greater Derry. Check it out.
Life gets to be really overwhelming sometimes. When I started AIR, I wasn't in such a good place, and it helped me to have something else to think about when I was depressed.
Many AIR teens have experienced bullying, and they have often felt that they have had to suppress who they are and what they think and feel in order to fit in. And so AIR provides that open space that supports them, allows them to take what we call safe risks through the arts in a way that is non-judgmental and doesn't include competition.
I'm doing a lot better mentally, and AIR's been a part of that, having somewhere that I can go when I need it. AIR is about empowering women. That's helpful because a lot of the time we're treated like we can't. It's helpful to know about all the women that have done amazing things.
Martin Luther King Jr. once said that everybody can be great because anybody can serve. Up here, we serve so that anybody can ski. We come for the people. All ages, all abilities. And from all walks of life. For families. And friends.
I think the most fulfilling part about being on the board at Durham is to the local community and just how many different areas the program covers. 3 different facets of the program obviously are the community caregivers and providing volunteers to give rides to elderly, homebound, disabled community members across the 7 communities, as well as our loaners closet, which loans out durable medical equipment at no charge, no cost to the family or to the person who's using the equipment, as well as to our volunteer home repair program, where the program matches homebound who need help with small home repairs with handy persons who can help them out, as well as minor yard cleanup and things of that nature.
Enriching lives.
And supporting individuals to remain independent.
Through a compassionate,
volunteer community.
My name is Erin Giannetti. I'm an occupational therapist for a local home care agency, and the Loaner Closet helps my clients, patients in the home in various ways to meet their goals, especially being able to pick up items such as shower chairs, commodes, walkers, for those that need this equipment to be safe and independent in the home. Everybody here is so helpful and cheerful and accommodating. The process here works really well as far as calling to put somebody either on hold for an item or on a waiting list for an item. The Loaner Closet definitely overall makes my job easier and helps my patients meet their goals. Thank you for donating. It definitely helps my clients, whether it's through using equipment or financial needs that they may need to be safe and independent.
Welcome back, and thank you for all of you who produce those videos so that we can help you share your stories as part of New Hampshire Gives 2022. No shortage of amazing nonprofit organizations throughout our state that are doing amazing work on behalf of the people of New Hampshire.
And like Kristen just said, there right now for the last half hour, just under a half an hour left, there is still $400,000 that is available as match money. If you go to the website and you go to menu and you can see what the matches are, and you can direct your money so that it can go even further than it would on any other day or any other fundraising event of the year. Just look for the match, and you could give. And that doesn't even touch the bonus pool, which is an entirely different subject. But there's a lot of good that can be done with a donation, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, whatever you can do.
We can stretch those dollars for you. So help us help these other folks. And I'd love to, at this point now, bring in our next live in-studio guest. It's my honor to introduce Clement Kigugu, the Executive Director of Overcomers Refugee Services out of Concord, providing newly resettled refugees with the support services and cultural orientation necessary to become fully integrated and contributing members of our community. Clement, thank you so much for being here. Well, gotta give you mad props on the shoes. You have the best shoes I've ever seen. But talk to me a little bit about these services and helping these refugee families coming to New Hampshire from multiple different countries and the kind of help that they need. What services do you provide?
So our organization is called Overcomers Refugee Services, as you said. So we have different programs. So we provide employment assistance. We also provide the social services, which include, helping clients to apply for different services, refer them to different providers, housing and reading mail, and helping with everyday activities. For the cultural orientation, it's really ongoing activity. So most of the people knows they're refugees, so they have been in refugee camp for 15, 20 years, even more than that.
Wow.
Which is really, so when they came here to US, it's a big transition. So it's really a brand new, system. So we need to educate them every single day. We also have a program with peace building, which many people came in this country where they flee their countries because of violence and war that happening in their countries. So when they arrive here, some of them, they still have trauma. And, as you know, some have civil war. So which meant the tribe were fighting with another tribe. So when they get here, they live together while they were fighting back home. So we try to help them to come to the peace so that way they can live together in a new country. We also have a program, Youth and Women program, where we teach them how to live in this country and try to achieve their goal and prepare for their future. And also for the women group to teach them how to raise the kids in this country. We had some cases with a single mom, for example, their children was taken because they left them home and then have to go to work. So we have to help them to how they can raise the children in this country. The other thing we provide is a citizenship class. When you are a refugee, you left your country and you lose your citizen. So when you came in this country, you have to wait again for 5 years to become a U.S. citizen. And you are not just getting the citizen for free, you have to take the tests. Civil, for 100 questions. We also provide the computer literacy. So we start the computer literacy after the COVID-19, because most of refugees do not know how to use the computer. So when everything was closed, it was very, very hard for them to navigate the system. We had like 100 people, after everything was closed to help them with unemployment. So they have to come to our office or we have to call them, they have to attend the meeting, which they need to use Zoom and they didn't know how to use them. So we start the computer program, or we teach them the computer, how to search the job online. That's pretty much the program we have. But the goal is really to educate, empower, and engage.
That is as comprehensive a program as I've heard. There's not one aspect of life, it seems, that you don't touch, and help. You're basically giving them keys to a new life, right? Yeah. And hearing you talk about it, I can hear how important it is to you. And my question, like I've asked so many other people that have come in and visited us of it, and I think I can tell what the answer is, but what in doing that brings you joy? What are the moments that you see so that people at home know when you have a success, what is that like? What does it feel like? What does it look like?
I do have so many, successful stories that's bring me joy. To see someone who came in new country and be able to go to work and pay the bills and help his children or her children. Also, see the kids going to school and graduate and go to college. See people who are, stressed with this country, who do not know how to navigate the system. And when they know that we are there, they have peace of mind because they say, oh, I have someone that I can call and help me with this.
Right.
And so when I go home, at the end of the day, as you know, all the job are stressed, but at the end of the day, if there's 2 or 3 people who can say, thank you so much for your help,
right.
that's bring me joy.
That's great.
Clement, yeah. I think about the number of countries that that are perhaps sending refugees to the United States, but also to New Hampshire. It has to be a challenge to just get some of the basic interactions and communications with people that are coming from different places. How do you overcome what could be just the simple language barrier so that you have a starting point? It's got to be challenging.
Mm-hmm. So I personally speak 5 languages plus English.
Well, there you go.
So
5 languages.
That's
humbling. That's very impressive.
And we do have staff from Bhutan, Nepal, who speak Nepali.
Okay.
I do have another caseworker from Congo who also speak different languages.
Wow.
So now we're really trying to see if we can hire somebody from Afghan community to cover all those languages.
Right.
But most of the language from the refugee from Africa, I really cover because I speak different languages.
I love that. For people that may not be very exposed to these communities in New Hampshire, from your perspective, once these families are settled, once they have gotten over some of the challenges of language and you've got them set, what contributions are these families making here to New Hampshire?
It's a huge contribution. Again, first of all, for the job, for example, now most of the companies are calling us looking for workers.
Is that right?
So their contribution is really, they're hard workers.
Yeah.
They work hard. I remember, for the first time when I tried to place people, and they were saying, oh, they don't speak English, I don't know how they're gonna work. After 1 week, I said, try one person. And you will tell me after 1 week or 2 weeks.
Right.
And then after 2 weeks, they say, oh, Clement, do you have another person?
Right,
So I send one more person.
Right.
After 1 month, they say, oh, we need 3 more people or 5 more people.
Right.
So they are really a hard worker. And then we have a different category of people who work, entry job, to the professional job.
Right.
So we pretty much cover everything.
Have you found when you're trying to find a refugee family, a home, place to stay, have you found, because there's definitely been an apartment and a housing crisis in New Hampshire, how has that affected you? Have you been affected by it?
We are post-resettlement agency, so we are not really the people who look for the housing.
Okay, all right.
But what we have been affected is more people move to New Hampshire and go to other states.
Right.
Because of, the housing price is really high. That's one thing that's really, getting hard. And then after, they have 4-year contract.
Right.
If they need to move or the landlord need the apartment, it's very, very hard to find another apartment.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's really, really a challenge.
Well, we appreciate all that you're doing to help with assimilating these families and helping them learn New Hampshire and opening up these doors of opportunity. And we wish the best of luck to you and to the families.
There's got to be a lot of joy in it. It just hearing you talk about it, it's like, wow, what that's got to be like to see, on a daily basis, that kind of appreciation and that kind of abilities to give them a key to a new life, really. A safe life here in New Hampshire is wonderful. Thank you for the work you do.
Clement Kigugu of Overcomers Refugee Services in Concord, thank you again for all that you've done.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving this opportunity. I wanted just to say thank you to all New Hampshire community. So I can really achieve this myself, but it takes a village.
Sure.
So we have people who have been helping us, supporting us to do what we're doing now. It's not really me, but it's us in general. But also, we have volunteers who come to our office and help. We really appreciate for their time and for everything they give.
There you go.
But I also want to tell you that we have Umuganda, which is coming soon on June 25.
Wonderful. That's right. Umuganda, a Rwandan holiday that means coming together in common purpose. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
In Concord.
Yeah, in Concord, yes. Because we need to bring all the community together so that way we know each other. So people has been having the story from one side. But if we come together and have time to share our story, I think we give people opportunity to know each other and to live together.
Fantastic.
Great.
Clement, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to meet you. Keep up the good work, and thank you for all the work you're doing for families.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that a lot.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Thanks again. So again, there's an international flavor to the work that's being done by nonprofits throughout New Hampshire.
Yeah,
it's very impressive.
It's inspiring. It's just another inspiring story that we've got to hear over the last day.
It's the best. Yeah,
it's incredible.
Good stuff.
I'm looking, 11,832 donors.
Just
different donors that are coming through.
Just
in
great.
The last
573 organizations, almost 3.2 million.
Yeah.
It's just an unbelievable give. And so there's still 17 minutes left. And we have a few more features to be able to showcase it.
And there's still time. There's still
that's right.
time. I know that you're going, oh, it's coming to an end. No. There's still time. You could go on the website and it would take literally moments, minutes, if that, to make a donation and to maybe make a text and say, hey, can you help me out? Here's an organization I really feel strongly about. They could use your help, and it gets matched and your dollar gets stretched. All of those quick, like now we're in the last 20 minutes or so, just under 20 minutes. That can make a huge difference. It's not over yet, so please keep it going. Keep the website numbers coming.
Absolutely. And if you're looking for inspiration of even a couple of other nonprofits to give a few of these last-minute dollars to, why don't we check out Keene Housing Kids Collaborative and the Grand Monadnock Youth Choirs.
Check it out.
There is a gap. By middle school, American children from low-income households have a 6,000-hour learning gap. The Keene Housing Kids Collaborative is building a foundation for successful adulthood by bridging that gap by providing access to youth programs.
Hi, my name is Michaela. I'm 15 years old, and I've participated in dance, basketball, softball, baseball, and theater.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm 9 years old. I have participated in gymnastics, choir, horseback riding, and violin. Hi, I'm Nathan. I'm 8 years old. I practice on violin lessons, swimming lessons, and horseback riding. My name is Steve, and I go to preschool. And I'm 5 years old, and I go to swimming lessons.
Since 2015, over 1,500 children in the greater Keene area have participated in youth programs that develop life skills that help them to reach their limitless potential. The Kids Collaborative has over 40 community partners who work with our kids. With your support, together we are serving our community's future, helping to bridge that opportunity gap.
Hi, I'm Esther Rhodes. I'm the Artistic Director for Grand Monadnock Youth Choirs. GMYC is the performance-based music education program for young singers in our region. Before the pandemic, GMYC had 5 choirs that served over 100 kids in our region. And when the pandemic came, we decided that we needed to close our doors. In the spring of 2020, New Hampshire Gives was there to save the day. We raised so many funds from all over the country to support GMYC even during the time of darkness. We used those funds to kickstart our program in the fall of 2021. We opened originally with 3 ensembles, and in the spring we had 2 more open. So now we have, again, 5 choirs that rehearse both in Keene and Peterborough. We are so fortunate to have participated in New Hampshire Gives and are just feel the warmth and feel so lucky. So thank you so much.
We were just talking about how fulfilling the last 24 hours has been and how inspiring it has been to hear all these stories from everybody. And we're not even done.
No.
We're not even done yet.
We're not done. There's still match dollars that are out there.
True.
And there's still time to give. It's easy. Click, go.
And we still have prizes. That's a whole nother thing.
Oh, that's true.
And snacks. Sorry, that's just us. The snacks are just for us. I'm sorry.
Snacks are not going your way. They're staying here.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Clearly, we need the snacks. Okay. Just but we can even introduce some more folks to you right now, and I think we're going to bring onto the screen with us to join us remotely. Would you welcome, please, Molly Hodgson, the CEO, and Maria Sillari, the COO of GoodWork in Portsmouth. Hi, ladies. How are you? Oh, there you're out.
Hi. We're good.
Nice
Hello.
to see you. And GoodWork supports and strengthens Seacoast nonprofits by providing meeting rooms, co-working space, affordable housing, and more, while also serving as an incubator for an incredibly diverse set of nonprofit organizations. So here's an organization that is helping other organizations achieve their goals by giving them the tools which to do so, which is, it really speaks to the fabric that we've talked about that all of these nonprofits make that become the state of New Hampshire, and you're enabling that. So congratulations. Let's start with you, Molly, and tell us a little more about what GoodWork does.
Sure, thank you. It's great to be with you guys, and thank you to you for doing all of this incredible good work. We are so elated for all of our nonprofit partners and our incubator participants. As you said, Greg, we are the nonprofit organization that helps other nonprofit organizations be strong and efficient and smart businesses. And we do that over here in Portsmouth at this beautiful setting called Carey Cottage. And it's wonderful, incredibly compelling work.
So you work with a lot of nonprofit organizations, and it's not like they're in mansions. Some of them don't even have actually places to hold meetings, events, gatherings, or maybe what's the word? Maybe seminars or those kind of things. And you're offering that to them, a place to do the work they want to do, right?
Yeah, we have beautiful meetings rooms, and we offer them free to nonprofits at certain parts of the day, and they're available for the business community as well to rent and for their retreats.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've noticed so frequently, and in fact, Sam Evans-Brown from Clean Energy New Hampshire mentioned it yesterday during the broadcast, is that you have a lot of people with a lot of passion that jump into this lane of operation of life, of nonprofit, that whole world. Whole lot of passion, whole lot of desire, not a heck of a lot of experience in what they need to do. So I feel like I need to just sort of thank the two of you publicly for providing that type of guidance for other nonprofits. What sorts of guidance are you most frequently giving to those folks that might be fresh into the pool and not exactly sure how to swim?
Yeah. It's a lot of personal coaching. Both Maria and I serve as executive coaches with the leadership of the organizations. We provide some professional development opportunities so they can work on things like board development, fundraising, financial management, building a budget, creating a business plan. So really basic foundational pieces of being a smart, effective business. Because as you said, Scott, folks that go into nonprofit work typically do it because they care deeply about an issue or a cause, and they've got all the motivation and excitement and vision in the world. They just need a little help refining the business pieces to it. So, Maria and I feel really, really lucky to be able to do this work. We've both worked our entire careers in the nonprofit sector, and to be able to pay it forward and give some of that experience back to the next generation of nonprofit leaders is really exciting.
Could you guys maybe share a couple of stories about some of the organizations that have grown with your help?
Sure. A couple of them are doing New Hampshire Gives and doing quite well. One is Our Place, which is trying to develop housing, supportive housing for developmentally disabled adults in the area. They started with us, and we've helped them with different kinds of coaching and with their tax-exempt filing. We've helped them think about how to work with their board and how to take things a little bit at a time to build the foundation for what they're trying to do. There's Red's Good Vibes out there, which is providing free, no questions asked, food truck meal experiences to anybody that needs a meal. We've worked a lot with Caitlin around how to raise additional funds, how to build her board, looking for space for their operations. So we get to work with a lot of really amazing people.
That's fantastic.
We've talked to, and Sam was one of them that you talked about earlier, talking about how hard it is to be a nonprofit, the head of a nonprofit, because a lot of times you don't know where to go. The fact that you're supplying, that kind of experience, advice, and facilities is kind of like the complete helping package for anybody that's in the nonprofit business in the Seacoast area.
It's almost like a plug and play. I'm wondering, ladies, is there anything that the business community, and Molly, I've known you for years, and you've got those wonderful roots in the business community. Are there things that the leaders of business can do to help you in your effort to help nonprofits? What do you need?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that question. We have about 50 business professionals that serve as a bench of folks that provide pro bono support to our incubator participants. So that can be anything from an accountant to an attorney to a marketing specialist. Mary Jo Brown is one of our professional partners, as well
She's
as a
pretty
number
awesome. She's pretty awesome.
She really is. So shout out to MJB. And we absolutely invite anyone who has a particular skill set that they'd like to bring to bear to help our nonprofits be successful. We would absolutely love to talk to them about that. We call them our professional partners. We also have mentors that we assign to each nonprofit that goes through the incubator program. And so there's lots of incredible people out there that I know would serve as great mentors. So we invite them to join the charge.
I was telling Scott just before you guys came on about how beautiful Carey Cottage is. How did that come to be your base, your home?
Oh, that's a long story, but quickly, the visionary couple that founded GoodWork heard that Carey Cottage was at risk of demolition,
right,
and thought it would be a perfect place to house GoodWork and other nonprofits and some affordable housing. And so they stepped up and made a contribution to fund the renovation, and turned to Molly and I and said, would you manage it? And we said yes. And that really, in a nutshell, is how it all came to be. But we come out and
yeah, it's a beautiful space, and it's a resource. It's a really wonderful resource to have right in the Seacoast area. I've been there. I've seen it. It's lovely. So lucky you.
Have you photographed it yet?
I have, actually. It's funny that you should ask that. I have.
So Molly and Maria, thank you so much. We appreciate all the work that you're doing with GoodWork in Portsmouth, and we hope that this exposure has helped raise awareness about what you're doing, and also help generate a few donations as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. It's nice to see you.
Thank you
very much.
Thanks for everything you're doing.
Thanks a lot. Take care and best of luck.
Thank you.
So we're ticking down here with just the last few minutes of New Hampshire Gives in 2022.
Yeah,
and
it's a beautiful
one last prize. Okay.
It's a beautiful space, and yes, I have photographed.
Yeah. So in case you missed it, Kristen said that more prizes are going to be announced in just a few minutes after the closing bell.
Right.
But we have the Map, Move, Measure prize offered by Beth Saunders Associates, an advisory session where essential tools for building, supporting, and managing more engaging opportunities for supporters will be explored. It's a great chance to gain insight into keeping those New Hampshire Gives donors engaged throughout the year. The winner was chosen at random from participating organizations who filled out an interest form, and the winner is the Crisis Center of Central New Hampshire. So congratulations to the Crisis Center of Central New Hampshire for the Map, Move, Measure prize.
And we've been about, kind of telling you the stories of some of the nonprofits that are looking for help, and in this case, that have housed us and made this our home. And we'd like to share with you a video from our friends here at New Hampshire Public Broadcasting System. So let's take a look.
At New Hampshire PBS, we know that the magic of storytelling comes alive when imaginations soar. As we look to the future with a renewed sense of purpose, New Hampshire PBS will forge ahead, expanding initiatives in education, civic engagement, and exploration. Our commitment to education runs deep. We will continue to offer supportive resources for parents, teachers, and students, inspiring the next generation to innovate and imagine. New Hampshire PBS is your storyteller. It's our strength. We will continue our quest to reach into small towns and bustling cities in the Granite State, gathering diverse stories that define us. We will highlight New Hampshire's high school students as they challenge their knowledge and compete with the best. We'll engage, inform, and connect our neighbors to vital information, offering critical insight, trusted information, and in-depth conversations that are accessible to everyone. We will explore the natural world around us, while deepening the connections to our guides who lead us along new trails. And innovation will be leading the way. We will reimagine how to bring more award-winning stories through more channels to audiences across the state and to the country. On air, online, in communities, and in classrooms. We are New Hampshire PBS.
So ticking down, literally 2.5 minutes left in the 2022 version and edition of New Hampshire Gives, and oh my gosh, this time is
the ticker has been just flying. It's just been going crazy.
It's zipping. 3.2 million and counting as we move through this 24-hour unbelievable show of generosity.
That number is a lot to kind of wrap your head around.
In a day.
It is a direct reflection of you.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with us. It's got nothing to do, even though the work is appreciated by all of the volunteers, you're the one that makes that ticker move.
Yeah.
So thank you, thank you, thank you.
And listen, it's not like we're going to shut off the lights right at 5 o'clock. So, spread the word, let folks know, click onto this website, jump in. The donations get stretched so far. We still have some dollars of matching dollars that are left, even in those last couple of minutes.
Sure.
Get into the system, get into the pipeline, let a few people know that we're closing things out, but we still got a little bit of time left.
Right.
And all of this made possible by the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits, and we are honored to be once again joined by Kathleen Reardon, the president and CEO of the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits, to help us wrap things up. And how are you feeling now that you're seeing the tallies? 12,000 donors.
Look at that.
These
Look
numbers
at
are
it
just
go.
inspiring.
12,000
and
donors.
The amount of good that is coming from this 24-hour cycle is it's immeasurable.
Yeah, and I think Greg said it, right? It's the ripple effect,
Sure.
right? One donation, and then you tell your friends, and then they add in, and keeps going, and we keep going and going. So it's really great to see this generosity.
And you've talked about, one of the, as much as important as the dollar figure is, it's the awareness. The top of mind awareness that an organization, nonprofit organization in your town, next town over, serving your county, serving your section of the state, that you might not have even known existed, and now you do. And that means wonderful things that if you need the services it offers, or if you want to help, right?
Right. I mean, every year I learn about some different organizations,
Sure.
Through this process.
Sure.
I mean, it's amazing all of the good things that are happening in our communities because people care, right?
Yep.
And so they get inspired by a cause and get involved. And we've heard all those stories in this last 24 hours, on the live stream, but also in all the social media that nonprofits are putting out as well. So it's really exciting. 20 seconds left.
And we have to
keep
thank
looking
you,
at that.
the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits, for being not just the backbone of this 24 hours of New Hampshire Gives, but in being so supportive of nonprofits throughout New Hampshire. Molly was a fitting closing interview to talk about the help that is extended to those who are trying to help others.
It's a tough field to navigate. And,
It is.
I've entered into it too, and it's very intimidating and it's very tough. To have a resource is life-saving.
Yeah,
So there you go.
and we have now crossed the finish line of 24 hours of fundraising. The clicker keeps on moving.
Yeah.
12,178 donors, and the numbers are still rolling in, and we cannot thank the people of New Hampshire and all those who have tuned into nhgives.org for 2022 for your generosity, for helping spread the word, for participating in this, and for the great work that you do out there every single day for the people of our state.
Absolutely.
It's just wonderful.
Big grateful
Absolutely.
thing. And you did mention the donations. We are still allowing donations.
Yes.
Even though the
Keep it coming.
24-hour, we'll tally up for the prizes.
Yep.
But
We will
keep
still
on-
take your money.
Keep on. Yeah. The portal will be open until Friday.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, so there's still a little bit of
because
time.
we know some people will come home tonight and see
Right.
some
Say,
messages and
right.
go, gosh, I still wanted to support that organization.
Yeah.
So certainly want to make sure that still happens.
That's the bonus round. You now get
That's
till
it.
Friday. That is extendo time.
How about that?
I love that.
That's fantastic.
Smart.
It's
I like the
wonderful.
way you're thinking.
That's right. Well,
Yeah.
Kathleen, thank you so much. We
Thanks.
appreciate you really helping us host all of this effort and helping so many others.
Thank
It's
you.
wonderful. And we know that Kristen Oliveri will be coming back. She's got, I believe, quite the tally of final
She's giving us the 1
door
second.
prizes.
She's got 1 second. She
Is
said
it
1 minute
just,
left.
Just a second. Hang
Right.
on. Hang tight, if
Right.
you will. Well, this has been a pleasure doing this with you for the second year in a row.
So now we're going to get personal.
You're not too shabby there,
Thank you.
Kretschmar.
Neither are you, Spradling.
I need to point out that at least yesterday when we wrapped up our live broadcast at 9 p.m. last night, that marked the 9th hour of live broadcasting that Captain Radio to my left here did just yesterday, which that's like a week's worth of work for most people in the radio industry, and he did it in a day.
He said that. I did not say that.
That's pretty impressive.
I did not say that.
That's a lot of effort.
There are much tougher jobs, no question. I will be the first to admit that. But when you are given the opportunity to do something like this and to make a difference and to help make a difference and spread the word and create awareness, yeah, I think that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
I really do. You know, we live in a state where people care about other people in the state, and helping them to show that and do that and helping those organizations. No brainer.
And for what we did, it was the tip of the iceberg of the number of organizations that are doing great work. But it's so inspiring. You may be asking, oh, you must have had a whole bunch of questions written down. Actually, no. The energy and inspiration brought to us from all these people that connected with us over the last 24 hours.
Right.
They generated the questions. It was so much easier for us to just have these conversations than you might think, because it's just fascinating the work these folks do for our state.
And my favorite moments is when I asked, that's why when I first asked the first person about what gave them joy in doing what they do, and you could see it in their face, you know, you could see them light up, and every person had a story that was inspiring. Every person, Clement just had a great story about, seeing refugees, being able to help their family, kids go to school and go to college and get jobs and, get that job and start paying bills and things. That's a touching thing, to see. And I don't know, that's just that kind of makes it all worthwhile.
Right.
And there were several moments throughout the last day or so. It was just great.
And you're right with Clement. I mean, think about that for a minute. He was mentioning that there are families that are in these refugee camps for years before coming to New Hampshire and finally having a roof over their head, things they can call their own, a school, a store, privacy, just unbelievable switch. And it really changes your perspective on what we have in our state, what we can treasure, but what we can give back to those who are coming our way that might need some help. And once again, looking at those numbers, 3.2 million raised and counting. The number just keeps on going. Thank you, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
12,000 donors. I don't know of another, I don't think there is a single one-day event that has the kind of impact that this day does. I think it's the most impactful 24 hours in charitable giving the state has. Without question. I think it's unparalleled and unmatched.
It's wonderful. Yeah. And this is happening online. I mean, we're not using a broad, megaphone here. It's so impressive. We appreciate you so much. And we're still getting the hang on a second from Kristen Oliveri, who has very soon a number of prize announcements.
So she's telling us to stall.
From the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation.
My name's Greg. I like long walks on the beach and a nice glass of red wine. Chianti, is that a red wine?
It is.
I don't know anything about wine.
Yeah,
clearly.
Chianti. You have that.
I like frosted mini wheats.
How many cameras do you have? Frosted mini wheats.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Come on.
I love them.
Welcome, Kristen Oliveri. She's back with us. She's back.
I have so many prizes to list out, so this might take a while.
That's okay.
Okay.
You know what? Do your thing.
Okay, I will do my thing. So,
spread the joy.
And I just want to give a shout out to Deborah Clark, who is working behind the scenes. She wants to be behind the scenes, but she has helped me pull all of this data together. So thank you.
She's been working on this day for months.
Yes.
Months. Couldn't do it without her.
No, definitely not. Thank you, Deborah.
Okay. So, and Deborah, she calculated all of this. So.
Oh, math.
Yeah.
Okay.
So last donor prize. So this is the last donor that the system clocked, however they figured
before
that
5
out.
p.m.
Yes.
Still give.
Yep.
That goes to the Touchstone Farm.
Oh, wonderful.
And then we have a bunch of regional prizes that go to the organizations that raise the most and who have the most donors that contribute to the organization over the 24 hours. So Seacoast, most dollars, Our Place. Most donors, Black Heritage Trail.
Nice.
Manchester, shout out to my hometown. Most dollars, CASA.
Nice.
And most donors, Building Community in New Hampshire. Nashua region. Most dollars, the Nashua Soup Kitchen and Shelter.
Wonderful.
Most donors in Nashua, the Mount Vernon Library Charitable Foundation. Monadnock region. We have the Cornucopia Project for most dollars raised.
That was Dana.
Yep. And the Keene Housing Kids Collaborative for most donors.
Wonderful.
And going up north a little bit in the Upper Valley, for most dollars, we have Friends of Muskoma, and most donors, the New England Healing Sports Association. Take a little bit.
You're doing great.
Okay.
This is very impressive.
Capital Region, most dollars, Pope Memorial SPCA of Concord, Merrimack County. Most dollars, Capital Region, the Ollie, OLLI at Granite State College.
Yeah, right, Ollie.
The beautiful Lakes region. We have Wanakee for most dollars raised, and Maker's Mill for most donors. And last regional prize, so we have the North Country for most dollars, the Franconia Soaring Foundation, and then for most donors, Little Angels Service Dogs. And then the last prize, which the Charitable Foundation sponsors, it's a $2,500 grant, goes to the organization that has the most donors contribute.
Okay.
$2,500, and the winner is Peace and Pause.
Oh, wonderful.
So congratulations to all of those nonprofits that won these prizes.
That is fantastic.
Great work.
That's great. And really just shows what you're able to do to rally the resources. Yeah, absolutely. Applause to all. That's just great. Thank you, Kristen.
When we work together,
yes,
you can do amazing things.
Yeah. No doubt.
That's true.
Yeah, no doubt. Evidence of just simply spreading the word and letting people know about something like this happening opens the doors to being able to raise meaningful funds to take care of the many missions that are going on with nonprofits around our great state. It's fantastic. Yeah. Kristen, thank you so much. It's been an honor working with you once again this year.
Awesome.
This is fantastic. And I think this is...
I think it's it.
We're coming to the end here.
I think it's it.
I think it's for this edition of 2022 New Hampshire Gives. I think we now come to the final sign off of our final video.
Thank you doesn't cover it, really.
Oh.
There's no way to thank you all enough for making this happen, to make this day possible, and to raise already almost $303,300,000.
It's incredible.
The portal is going to be open through Friday, so please do not forget. And we'll leave you with a tune that'll be stuck in your head for the rest of the night, because New Hampshire, together we give. Thanks very much.
Good night.
Together we live, together we give.
Just still on the first one.
You did nail this. You nailed this. The pacing of the chair.
Yeah.
It was.
I got it. I'll nail it. I'll get it. I'll get it.
Because he has a spinny chair at work.
Think we got enough? Oh gosh. This is the part where they put other people in. Yeah. Ooh, nice.
Just sing it out loud.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
We might need a barf bucket for our live broadcast.
No, like this. No, change.
You totally did.
Stop it.
You totally did. That was absolutely perfect.
Holy crap, I feel like a weeble.